Hello, peace and love. How is everyone? This is Love, using my mango papaya body butter from Queen Care Cosmetics. Y'all already know the vibes. Hello. So I am not going to take up too much of y'all's time today. Hey Tiff, Carolyn, Zara. How are y'all doing? Happy Self-Love Sunday. So, I just wanted to make this video because it's some people who don't have any etiquette, like period, and you get on social media and it's reflected. Great rising. Hey, Color Me Blue. They get on social media and their lack of etiquette is reflected, and I see it so much that I have to talk about it. So that's what I'm coming here to do today. And these can be applied to any context. These are just life strategies, life tips. Take what resonates. If it does not fit you, then it is what it is, okay? So first of all, it is okay to ask questions for clarity. So when y'all get on people's posts and you start making assumptions and just saying stuff that really doesn't make sense, it's okay to first ask, okay, well, what do you mean by this? So you can get that person's interpretation or the message that they were trying to convey when they posted it, right? Because there are some people who get on my page and they don't even read the caption, or they'll just look at the post and won't listen to the whole post and start jumping to conclusions. And that's very ignorant. Number one, you're on the forum. So if you're there, read the whole thing. Don't just look at the post, because the post may be something that they don't agree with, and they're explaining in the caption why or why not they don't agree. But then you come put your interpretation in there as if you knew exactly where that person was coming from, okay? Not a smart choice. You wouldn't do that at work. I hope not. You wouldn't see a message that your boss sent and just start overreacting. You would be like, okay, well, what do you mean by this, right? So if you can do it on your job, you can do it on the internet. It's very cut and dry, all right? The second thing is, stop trying to force things or people to fit you. And some of y'all do this in relationships as well. So prime example, I had a person who reached out to me. Well, I sent them a message. I've been sending out the flyer for my event, How to Manage Your Emotions. Now, in the caption, I will give out a scenario like, are you tired of overreacting in your relationship? Are you tired of doing blah, blah, blah? And I put men because the women on my platform date men. They don't date women. So I have a follower apparently who doesn't fit that demographic. She's not heterosexual. And so she's saying in the message, I'm pretty sure that your content would be beneficial no matter who you're dating or who you're with, but I don't like your sales pitch. Okay, so why even start the sentence off with, I can understand that this may be beneficial outside of that context, but I don't like your sales pitch. Like, why does that matter? Now, any other time, it doesn't have to, no advertisement really specifically speaks to one group of people, one nationality, right? Typically, they're speaking to a diverse group of individuals, but because it said men, that's an issue for you, instead of, again, taking what resonates. So just because I go to, let's say it's a class for first-time home buyers, right? So they're like, we're offering this real estate class for first-time home buyers, and we're going to be talking about how to make sure your credit is intact and how to make sure that you find the right contractors, you find the right real estate agents, etc., right? So somebody may not be a first-time home buyer, but they may go to the class for the information. So they took what resonated. So if the title says men, but you know you have an issue with controlling your emotions no matter who you're with, maybe this is a seminar that you can attend, right? I am a very open-minded individual, and stuff like that really bothers me. However, I don't take it to heart because I feel like this. At some point, I was closed-minded too. So it's two sides of the coin. I'm not going to bash this woman for what she said because I remember being in a place where I couldn't think outside of my box. But I'm bringing the message to y'all so that you can understand it's not about that. It's just like when somebody's telling you something real and you like, oh, well, the way she dresses. Did you hear what came out of the woman's mouth? Was it true for you? Did it resonate? Y'all focus way too much on the messenger. Now, don't get me wrong. I can understand if somebody broke is telling you, oh, just live for the moment. Spend whatever you want to spend. It's within the context. Within the context, that doesn't make sense. But for a person who's trained to teach people, to coach individuals, to be a mentor to men and women, why is that even a statement that you would make? Oh, but I just don't like your sales pitch. You could have kept that to yourself. So the third thing I'll mention is that when you give feedback to people, give them things that they can work with. So for instance, when I'm giving you ladies feedback and you're in my consultations, I'm not wasting your time up there. I'm telling you what's real, right? So I'm saying, okay, well, it seems like from what you're telling me that this is your issue, right? So these are some things that you can do to assist you with that problem. Not, oh, I don't like your sales pitch. Was it that my language was not gender neutral? It's not supposed to be, but was it that my language was not gender neutral? Was it that you felt like it needed to be more inclusive? What was it that you had a problem with? And some people just find reasons to feel triggered about every little thing. And not everything is an attack. I understand that that comes from a place of trauma. So again, I am not bashing her. What I'm saying is make it make sense. Like sometimes y'all be in people's comments and y'all be talking crazy. Oh, I don't like the way you did this. I don't like, but what am I supposed to do with that? Oh, you didn't like the way I did it. So what, should I change the color on my flyer because it's pink and purple and you're not a girly girl? What are you saying to me? Right? Y'all have to get to a point where not everything is a threat to you. Not every difference of opinion is an attack. And it's a wonder to me. Now I understand why when people come to me and they're like, well, love, I don't have any friends, or I don't really hang out with people like that. I don't trust them, or da-da-da-da-da. Sometimes it's nothing wrong with that person. Sometimes it's something wrong with you. Sometimes you have issues because everybody around you is not going to think the same, and you can't accept that. Some of y'all have to have friends around you where everybody's exactly the same. Y'all dress the same. Y'all like the same type of cuisine. Y'all go to the same type of clubs. You're interested in the same type of music. You can't grow in that environment. I work in financial services. One of my mentors always says you can't stretch your own vision. It's the people around you that stretches your vision and helps you grow, which is why when a lot of people are on a journey of self-love and growth, people tell you, watch the company that you keep because that is going to impact the way you make decisions. So if I have to think like you and be like you and use all the same language, if I pose it in a different way, there are going to be some other people that don't resonate with it. So maybe that's not attractive to you, but that doesn't mean that you have to participate. It's unnecessary. It is unnecessary. Now, had I come back and said something like, oh, well, this is for, women who value men or want to date men, would that have been a problem too? Like, there are businesses who speak to a certain demographic. And a demographic doesn't have to be racial. Sometimes it is. Like, there are skincare lines who make things for people with melanin in their skin. There are different religious groups who It's not an interfaith type of mission. Maybe they're Christian, but they're Baptist. They're Christian, but they're Catholic, right? Different people have their different things. So my platform is for women who want to date men, who enjoy men, who like men. It's not for women who hate men. It's not for women who date other women unless you date women and men and want to marry a man. Y'all get what I'm saying? So don't take offense to that. Understand that that's just who I cater to. Not every business is going to cater to you. So with that being said, there's a difference between this is who I serve and I don't like these group of people. Right? Because sometimes when a group says, oh, well, we don't serve that population, red flags start going up. Oh, well, why not? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do you hate? No, it's none of that. It's none of that. I love everybody, period. My two best friends, not heterosexual women. I don't see a problem with that. What I have a problem with is people trying to tell me who to cater to. That's when I have a problem, because then you're trying to force me out of what I know. There are platforms for that. Quick question. Why would someone think you're trying to argue when you're simply trying to have them a conversation and see where they went wrong and hold themselves accountable? So sometimes that is like arguing to other people. Like, so for instance, the situation that I'm talking about now, some people don't understand a difference in opinion or just an explanation. And when that explanation comes, it doesn't mean you have to agree with me. That person can still disagree with you. So you're explaining like, oh, I just want to show you where you went wrong. If he doesn't feel like he was wrong in the situation, now you have a choice to make. Do I want to continue dating someone who doesn't see this as wrong? Or even check yourself. Was whatever I was angry at really a big deal? Or am I projecting? Right? You have to be able to ask yourself questions, but that's where awareness comes in. Like, trust me, I have my friends talk about the most controversial subjects, like, and they're very strong and intelligent women, and they're fiery. They're like social justice activists, literally. And so there are going to be things that I don't necessarily agree with, because I'm more of like a damsel, and I like for men to take control. I like to be taken care of. I like to be pampered and showered with gifts. And there are certain things we don't agree on, but we don't disrespect each other and say, oh, okay, well, you're weak because you do this and that. No. Or, oh, you're too independent because you do this and that. We just have a difference of opinion, and I love you and I still accept you for that. Right? Some of y'all struggle with your friendships because your friends don't accept you for who you are. But it seems like a foreign concept when it comes to people that you don't know. It's like, I'm not telling anybody to conform to my ways. I'm saying take what resonates. And I say that in my videos all the time. If it does not fit you, that's okay. Move on. Maybe something on my page does resonate with you. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you shouldn't follow me. I never had an issue with taking accountability for my wrongdoings. But sometimes men don't see where they go wrong or check themselves. He wants to talk, but can't comprehend the men I choose. I got you. Okay. So, what are you going to do about that? Like, if you feel like that's a problem, what are you going to do about that? Because again, like I mentioned, you can't force people to fit into your bracket or your idea of who they're supposed to be. And this is why I talk to you ladies all the time about personal accountability. Because yeah, you're saying I can take responsibility for my actions, but do you take responsibility for your decision making? Or meet with someone, have a consultation, go to a therapist, whatever your vibe is. Even if it's a religious leader, maybe it's your pastor for you, but do you go talk to somebody about what you're dealing with, or are you trying to wing it? Because the way I look at it, if I repeatedly keep making poor decisions in one area of my life, so for me, for a long time, it was finances. I get money, I get my bills paid, blow the rest. I did not have a savings account, wasn't thinking about savings, didn't think I needed one. But instead of me continuously making poor decisions about money and putting myself in a bad situation, I sought assistance from an expert. And that's the point that we have to get to. It's okay to ask for help. I know I'm not good at this, so let me go find someone who is. Abdul. Okay. I thought that was a question. So that's what I'll say there. So this is another thing. Just going into fitting people into your bracket. A young man without money is not a Dusty. If he's 20, 21, just getting out of college, he's trying to get himself established, that is not a Dusty. A Dusty is a full-grown man who lacks certain responsibility or just chooses to not better himself, chooses to not provide for his children or his family, right? It's a choice. But when you're young, you just don't have it. So for those of you who are like, oh, I don't want to date no old man, but a man can still do this and that for me, make it make sense. Don't have a boyfriend 22, 23, 24 years old and expect him to be able to marry you and take care of a family and pay for an entire household. You can't cheat the game. It's just like when y'all go apply for jobs and you're like, wow, this is entry level. How am I supposed to have 30 years of experience? Y'all don't think men are facing the same thing? Or you thought it was just you? If you want a man who's financially stable, then go get that. But most 20-year-olds aren't going to fit that bill. I can agree to disagree, though. I just rather apologize and keep it moving. I said something out of anger. Shake my head. Told him he talks too much and likes to hear himself talk. So that might not have been the best choice of words, but I appreciate your honesty. I really do. Okay, I need to see an expert. Well, you know where to find us. Hey, Kiara. And also, I am having a seminar. If you don't want to do like a one-on-one, some people feel uncomfortable. They feel like they're under a microscope in front of someone. But I am doing like a group call, a group coaching thing, and it's called How to Manage Your Emotions. So that seminar will talk a lot about that. Checking yourself, keeping your anger intact, your fear, your sadness. Like, it's going to talk about all emotions. It's not just anger, because a lot of people like to talk about anger because that is the emotion they feel most comfortable expressing, but that's not the only emotion that we have, so we're going to talk about a lot. So I would encourage you to click that link in my bio and sign up for How to Manage Your Emotions, because it's going to be lit. I said that after he told me I'm going to school for communications. Like, yeah, because you like to run your mouth, sir. Very long-winded. And communications has more to do with, like, media. So, like, TV, news, being able to convey a message. So just because someone goes to school for communications doesn't mean that their interpersonal communication is going to be good, So that was weird. But anyway, book with me. We can talk about it. So another thing, stop trying to find reasons to be mad. Like, some people literally, they just want to be offended. They go online looking for things to be offended about and comment on. You don't have a life. That's what that boils down to. Like, I can't, as a human, I can't please everybody. And it's not my job to please you. And that's what y'all have to understand about these men. As much as I talk about what a man is supposed to do in my life, or even when I have consultations with you ladies, I don't assume that you want what I want. I ask you straight up, what kind of man are you looking for? What kind of man are you seeking? We talk to figure out if the man that you are in fact dating, or the type of men that you have been dating, even fit that demographic. Because it's not, you're going to be unhappy, period. Right? So understand, you can't date a man who you know doesn't have certain characteristics and get upset with him for not fitting what you want him to fit. So some of y'all like men that hang out in the streets. And you like, oh, why doesn't he come home at night? He has a family now. Well, was he coming home at night before you had the baby? Okay, so your husband's not coming home. Make it make sense. Or some of you feel like, okay, well, he was cheating on me before we got married. But I felt like once we were married and we locked it in, he wasn't going to cheat on me anymore. If you want a man who's not a cheater, you can make that a standard for yourself, but you can't control anybody. And this is another thing. I saw a meme the other day that said, it's not hard to commit, but wasting years of your life is the problem. First of all, anything you do is a risk. Not being in a relationship, choosing not to date, choosing not to seek assistance on dating, choosing not to better yourself and take care of your body, choosing not to eat healthy. All of that stuff is a choice, and they all come with their own risks. Going to work every day is a risk. When you get in your car, that is a risk. Relationships are a risk. It may work and it may not work. But what are you doing to make it work? What are you doing to ensure your happiness in that relationship? Because that's what you're responsible for. That man is not responsible for your happiness. You are. And this is where your decision making comes in. What am I going to do to make sure that I'm happy? I know for myself, I'm not going to be happy if I have to pay bills in that house. So I'm not going to be with someone who expects me to come out of my pocket for bills, because that's not what I want. Y'all get with a man and he tells you, oh, I never been about that 50-50, da-da-da-da-da. And you like, well, if you want to marry me, you going to do this and that. And he's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. But you marry him anyway. And then you're upset because he didn't change. That's not who he is. And y'all have gotten so conditioned when men tell you, oh, you got to work with a man. He may want to change. He may want to do this. Okay, but he might not. So then what? This is how I think about it. If you meet that man, however he is in that state, if you couldn't be happy with him, if he stayed that way for the rest of his life, don't even be with him. If you can't accept him for who he is, don't even be with him. Yes, do we all change in some capacity? Absolutely. Change is inevitable. But evolution is not. Evolution is growth. When you evolve, that's growth. But evolution and change are not synonymous. He's going to change because he's going to get older. He's going to think different. He might be set in his ways. He might be pursuing more growth. But that's up to him, not you. You can't force your idea of who a person is supposed to be. And some of y'all get in trouble on social media for things just like this. Oh, this person said something that I didn't like. But they're famous and you've been following them for years, and now you don't want to follow them anymore because they don't fit into who you want them to be. Not everybody's going to be everything that you want them to be. And if you live life feeling like everybody around me has to be exactly the way I want them to be, then you're going to live a lonely ass life. You're not going to be able to keep a job. You're not going to be able to keep a man. You're not going to be able to keep friends. You're not going to be able to keep any long-lasting relationships if you expect everybody to be how you want them to be. I am my own person. You are your own person. I force nothing on no one, and you cannot do that to other people. Force nothing on no one. Even if they came in your life and wanted to change shit about you and you did it. He wanted me to change my hair. I changed my hair. I started getting my nails done. I started to be more feminine. I stopped talking around his family and friends about things that were going on in our relationship. I stopped being messy. But then when I wanted him to change, he doesn't have to do that though. You made that decision. So you have to make sure, okay, if I'm doing this for this person and I want that in return, convey that message. Okay, well, if I change this, I need something from you too. Because there's some things I don't like about you and I don't complain about them. But since we're talking, since you've opened up that dialogue, can I express myself to you? And if you can't, I wouldn't change anything. Shoot, if you want me to change, let's make it. But that's just me. I'm not telling you to do that. So I love y'all. I hope this message was of assistance to somebody. I love y'all. I don't seek to offend anybody. But if you get offended, you're not obligated to stay here. If it offends you that I particularly make content for heterosexual women, it's okay. Like, I'm not against you. I don't dislike you. This is just the demographic that I serve because that's who I am, right? And that's who I want to cater to. So peace and love. If you have not registered for How to Manage Your Emotions, definitely sign up. And if you need to book a consultation with me and you're like, love, I really need to sit down with somebody and talk this out, I got you. It's confidential. It's anonymous. I will make sure that you feel comfortable. I type up the notes for you and email it to you afterwards, everything that we talk about. And I also send you away with some homework. So come prepared. Have a good day.